Hello again. For this video, I want to give some of my reactions from what I saw with the practice mastery test that I had you guys do. So if you submitted an essay for that, you should now have comments up. I actually emailed them to everyone as well as posting them on Moodle. So I would definitely check those out before we have the actual test, which again is going to be available Monday the 6th to Tuesday the 7th. And, I've said this before, but I'll just say it again. For the department, this test is, important in terms of moving up in the writing classes and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you do this. I didn't have all that many people do the practice version of it, and that's fine. That was just kind of for you guys to know what was coming to get some, practice with that, get some feedback and everything. But I would, again, just let you guys know for the department how important they're making this test, and you want to make sure that you do it within the time frame that they're giving you. Again, you can access it through Moodle. Check out the emails that I sent about it. Watch the video I posted about it. All that stuff. Okay, so a couple of things I saw from the submissions that I did get. The first thing, they are definitely going to be looking for multiple paragraphs here. So I know that they kind of present the prompt as like sort of a short answer kind of thing, but they do want like an essay, right? They're looking for an essay. They don't just want kind of a short answer response. So for that reason, you definitely want multiple paragraphs, and I think they're specifically looking for 5 paragraphs, which, again, I've talked about how stupid I think 5 paragraph essays are. But that's what they're looking for on this test. Again, not my decision here. But yeah, so you want to make sure that you have these multiple paragraphs. If you submit just one paragraph, I don't think they're going to give you a good grade. I just think that's how they're going to approach this. So make sure that you're organizing, your thoughts, that you're organizing the reasons for your argument, right? So if we're going to have multiple paragraphs, the way we would want to do this is, they'll have their prompt where they'll ask you some kind of question. So for the practice one, the prompt was asking you, if technology companies should allow government authorities to unlock people's devices, if they're a suspect in some kind of case, right? So your direct answer to that would have either been like, yes, the tech companies should allow the government to unlock or should unlock the devices for the government, or no, they shouldn't, right? So then your paragraphs from there are just you want to try to organize them by like the reasons that you think that, if you're trying to convince someone of that position, if you're trying to convince your reader that the tech companies either should or shouldn't be doing this, then the way you want to organize your paragraphs is by like each of them being like a kind of a unique reason that you believe this or that you think your reader should agree with you on this. So I feel like I kind of picked up on a couple of reasons that you were guys giving. I don't know if anybody really put all 3 of them in there, because I was thinking about this, right? Okay, if I'm saying that they shouldn't do it, let's just say I'm going with the no. I'm saying that the tech companies should not unlock the devices. What would be the reasons for that? Well, a lot of people I think had this first one, which is saying like, oh, people have a right to privacy or something like that. That's good. That's a reason that makes sense to me. I think everyone agrees that they like want privacy and stuff, and that privacy, shouldn't just like be violated. Um, but I think the question that you would have to answer here is like, but why is this right to privacy more important than them being a suspect in a crime or whatever? Because people who said yes, they said, oh well, yeah, maybe privacy is important, but you know what, like security more important. So I think you would have to try to figure that out of like, well, why is privacy more important than security, or why is security more important than privacy? I feel like people were just kind of like stating it, it's like, oh well, privacy, we have to have privacy, without kind of responding to what the other side would be thinking. So something else that you can do in an essay like this is sort of respond to counter arguments that you think your reader might be thinking of. Because if we're saying, well, privacy is so important, you have to have the right to privacy and stuff. What if your reader's thinking, well, what if it's like a murder, or what if it's this kind of crime? What if it's a security thing? If your reader's going to be thinking that, you might want to try to address that in your paper. Be like, some people might say that security is more important, but actually, whatever. That's how you end up living in some kind of society where you just have no privacy, or whatever. You're just told what to do all the time, or kind of authoritarian sort of thing. So one thing I started, one like reason I saw people give was, this sort of right to privacy. Another reason that I thought was a pretty smart one, and if I was doing this, I think these would be like my three body paragraphs, right? We have our intro, we have our conclusion, we have the body paragraphs. So I could see the first one being about like this right to privacy kind of deal, and then the second one the point that I saw people making was that unlocking the devices would be bad PR for the tech companies, like it would make the tech companies look bad. People mentioned how Apple tries to like market themselves as like the private, secure kind of company. And if there was a news story about them unlocking a device just because whatever the FBI asked them to, um, then that would look bad for them, right? And then people buying the phones might be like, oh well, this actually isn't the private one. This isn't the secure one. I'm gonna get something else. So I saw that. I think that would be a pretty good reason. I could see that as like a second body paragraph. And then like a third reason that I saw mentioned, but I don't know if anyone had like a full paragraph on this, was like that they should have just gotten this subpoena, that they should have gone through the proper legal channels, right? Because that was part of this whole thing, is that like I don't know what was it that they didn't want to like wait for the judge to like issue some kind of thing or to get like a formal subpoena or whatever. So they were trying to like do it faster, I guess, because they thought it was a security thing. So I could see a third paragraph, a third reason like why the tech company shouldn't just be doing this is that they should wait for the process to go through the full legal system to the point where then like they have to do it and they don't have a choice, right? Because then you kind of avoid these other things because it's been determined by the legal system. It's not just the tech company like whatever doing the FBI a favor or something. So I could have seen kind of like three reasons like that, right? Three separate reasons in that kind of way. Again, because they're having you do this, kind of stupid 5 paragraph essay. Um, Something really important here. Each paragraph needs to connect back to your main argument. You're trying to convince us of your argument, right? It's not your job to summarize the article that they gave you necessarily. The article is only really supposed to be evidence, right? So you can use a couple of quotes. In fact, you need to use like at least one quote, maybe a couple, depending on how you want to do it. But you would want to use those quotes just as evidence to back up your argument. So again, if your argument is that the tech company shouldn't unlock the phones, you're going to look for a quote that you can use as evidence for why you think that. Like I said, it's not your job to just summarize the article or tell us, oh, well, then Apple did this, and then they did that, and then a judge said this, and then the FBI, well, this is what they said. That's not what the purpose of this essay is. I know it's confusing the way that they do this. They make you like read the article, summarize it, focus on it so much, but it's really only supposed to be like an outside source. Your whole essay should not be about the article. You're making your argument, in this case, about privacy and about whether the devices should have been unlocked. You've got your argument. That's your thesis. You're giving your reasons to back that up. The article can be used as evidence as towards a reason to back that up, but your whole essay should not be about the article, and you definitely should not like have a whole paragraph where you just summarize the article or anything. You don't need that. I think those were kind of my big takeaways here. We want to have as clear of an argument as we can, as clear of a thesis answering the question that they give you as we can, and then have each of our body paragraphs giving evidence, backing that up, giving each of them giving like a specific reason for why you think that, why you think the reader should also think that. And then, yeah, like I said, use the article more as an outside source, more as evidence, not as the main thing that you're focused on here. But I think that the stuff that they're looking for here is, yeah, definitely having multiple paragraphs, definitely organizing your paragraphs in this way, and having all of your paragraphs go back to your main argument. And again, having like at least one quote from the article because they do want that. All right, so those were kind of my main takeaways from what I saw. And again, if you submitted it, I sent you, individualized feedback based on what you submitted. But yeah, just again, make sure to clear out a couple of hours. They give you 2.5 hours, so maybe clear out that full amount of time sometime on Monday or Tuesday. And yeah, let me know if you have any more questions with this. I'm gonna post another video probably on Monday giving feedback to what I saw with your annotations and summaries for the practice one. Those I wouldn't worry about so much though. I would worry a lot more about the essay itself and preparing for that. So if you still have any questions about it, send me an email. We can talk about it more. But yeah, just wanted to let you know on what I was seeing there because I don't I also gave each of them a grade, right? I told you how this is graded out of 6, and you need at least 7 points from 2 different readers to have like a passing thing. Um, I think most of the ones that I read, I ended up giving like a 2 or a 3. Maybe there was one that I gave a 4. So, for these reasons, a lot with like the paragraphs and with having each of your paragraphs connect back to your main argument. Those were the main reasons why I felt like the grades I was giving were, a little low. All right, so that's all for now. I'll see you soon. Bye.